In this short video, I'm going to show you how to make a straight-ahead frame-by-frame animation using Adobe Flash CS6. A frame-by-frame animation is essentially like a flipbook animation that you might make using a packet of Post-it notes or drawings that you might do in the bottom corner of your textbook. It's essentially one drawing per page, and when you play them back fast, it looks like things are moving around. So let's see how to do this in Adobe Flash. To start with, we want to come down here and make sure that we have a layer. And I always like to name my layers. To name a layer, double click on it. I'm going to call this Flying Blob, because that's what I'm going to animate. And I'm going to come over here and choose my brush tool. Make sure I like to use the pressure sensitivity with my Wacom tablet, and make sure that object drawing is turned off. So that needs to not be gray, it needs to be off. All right. And so to make a frame-by-frame animation, it's as simple as creating a keyframe and changing the drawing. So how do we do that? A keyframe is basically a frame of animation in Adobe Flash that has art on it. And every time you have a keyframe, the art is essentially changing. So a keyframe is indicated by this little box with a small circle in the bottom of it. When it's a white circle, this is indicating an empty keyframe, or basically a frame that has no art on it. You'll notice as soon as I add art, it turns black, meaning that there's art on that frame. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. We're going to come up here and go ahead and draw my blob. All right. Once I have my blob drawn, I just need to go to the next keyframe. And I can either right-click on that frame and insert a blank keyframe. And at this point, I'm going to make a change. But it's kind of hard to know what the change should be because I can't see what happened before it. So in order to see, we're going to come down here to onion skinning and turn this on. Onion skinning gives us a little ghost image of the frames that come before or after, depending on how you have your bracket set here in the timeline. And so it allows us to see where we had art in the previous frame, so we can draw art in the next frame. And so we'll just go ahead and continue to do that. I'm going to try a slightly different method for the next frame. I'll click on it. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose Insert Keyframe. And when I insert a keyframe, it actually makes a copy of the last frame. But I can, since it's selected, I can just hit Delete and go ahead and redraw. Whoa, that was a little big. So, how about there? There we go. And so I'll go to the next frame. And now this time around, instead of right-clicking, I'm actually going to hit F6 on my keyboard, and that makes a copy. And I'll delete and draw my blob again. This time I'm going to click to my next frame, F6. And this time I'm going to use the eraser tool to get rid of my art. And so I can just erase, 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 and then go back to my brush tool and keep drawing. Go to my next frame, F6, and we'll have it hit the ground. And then go to my next drawing. Oops, and I actually forgot to delete up here, so I just need to get rid of that. And then we go to the next frame, F6, delete, and I'll make it kind of squish down on the ground here. And then go to my next frame, and I will hit F6, delete, and we'll make it kind of bounce back up. But now I'm going to make it shoot across my frame, so I'm going to go F6, delete, and I'm going to give it some like motion stripes, so it's going to shoot up here into the next frame. F6, delete, I'll have it come up here. And now I'm just going to again, do some other stuff, some randomness. I might have it just stay here for a second, and then we'll have it come over here, like and F6, delete, and shoot over here, F6, delete, and come to a stop. And then we'll just have it finish out with staying in one place. And now if I turn my onion skinning off, I can click on this little red playhead and I can scrub back and forth and see what my animation actually looks like. And you notice that I just created changes from frame to frame in a straight ahead way and created some animation. To see what it looks like in action, I do Command Return on my keyboard and it plays my animation back. And that's all there is to straight ahead frame by frame animation in Adobe Flash CS6.